Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Knit Together podcast. This is episode number 4. I am Amy Caroline. I am a homeschooling mom to 9, a lover of all things yarn, and this is my podcast where we talk about knitting and crochet and any other little crafting bug that might be bugging me. Anyway, so today I'm going to share with you a bunch of stuff. I have been gone. I didn't get to do the podcast last week. If you can hear in my voice, you will know. We've been sick. Boy, we got a horrible cold. It was like, okay, not so good, really, really bad. And then even getting better was like the same thing. It was really slow. So we've been sick for about 2 weeks. My husband is actually home today, in the back room, sick with the baby. The baby's also sick. Just, it's horrible. But the rest of us are on the mend and we're getting better and trying to get back into life. The good thing about the illness, if you want to think about something that maybe was good, was that it wasn't it wasn't so bad that for the majority of it, I actually could kind of like still knit and crochet and do things like that. So it was a lot of resting, but I was able to, watch podcasts and movies and TV and rest while I was also knitting away. So I've got a couple things to share with you, and yeah, let's get started. I actually have, oh, and I forgot. My daughter Lucy wanted to do a little part of the podcast with me, so I did a little interview with her, and I'm gonna edit it into the podcast a little bit later, probably at the end, so you guys can meet Lucy. She's 10 years old, super adorable, and just very talented and very sweet, and she wanted to do the podcast too. But I didn't think she'd want to sit here and listen to me talk for the majority of it, so I just figured we'd do a little interview with her, and that'll be probably at the end. Yeah, we'll do it at the end. I'll put it in at the end. So I have some finished objects because I was so immobile and didn't go anywhere or do anything for like 2 weeks. The fauna hat that I talked about in the last episode, and I told you I wasn't feeling it. I totally frogged it. I couldn't do it. I didn't have the motivation. I think what it was I had spent like the last 3 months knitting stuff for other people, and I was so ready for some selfish knitting. It was just, here I was making a pair of socks, not for me, and here I was making a hat, not for me, and what had I been doing all of October, November, and December was making stuff for other people. And I thought that was probably where I was at, was that I was just burned out it was time to do something fun for me. And I had wanted to do, I should have worn it. I have this beautiful shawl. I cannot remember the name of it because it's in a different language. So I'll put it in the notes. I should have worn it. I made a shawl for myself this year. I try to do at least one a year. And by Isolda, stock something. And it's beautiful. Maybe I'll pop in a picture of it. And so I wanted a blue hat to go with it because I've never, like I said, I don't knit for myself enough. It's this beautiful hobby, and I should do stuff for me too. So I did. I made myself a blue hat. It is a Jane Richmond design, and it's the Pasha, and it's this lovely little lace hat. I've knit several of Jane Richmond's designs, and really like them. They're really nice to knit and they look so cute. I should have, if I would have done anything different, I would have done this differently. It's a 3-1 rib, and it curled a little bit right on the edge. And I didn't really like the way that looked. Now, in a lot of her designs, she recommends doubling it. So you do that ribbing twice and then fold it. And so there's probably a trick to it that I haven't learned yet. And when I tried to do it once, it looked so bad. So I usually don't. But it would have saved this weird little curl down at the bottom, which it's bothering me for some reason. Not enough to distract from my love of the hat, but it's just, and even the top, I think it just came together so nicely. So yeah, I wish I had doubled that and then figured out the secret to the folding it, because I think that would have given it a really nice full look without the weird, or I heard about like these I-cord cast-ons. I've got to learn. That's the thing too, is that I've gotten into a comfort zone with my knitting and I need to challenge myself a little bit more. Which was, I mean, with the socks, that's part of that, is that is going to be a challenge for me this year. I'm going to do the box of socks and I have to do 12. So I have to do 12. So this will go with my shawl and I'll be able to wear it around, because my other hat's red and it was Tin Can Knit's Bonbon Toque, which I love, but the red and blue is a little bit patriotic, so I look like a flag. So I did that while I was sick. I might have messed up in a place or two, but the lace pattern hides it, so that's another great one. But Jane Richmond's designs, totally recommend them. I have knit the Jane, the Kathleen, I can't remember. I've knit another one. But they're easy to read patterns, really well written, and easy to do. Well, I mean, challenging but easy. My hair is doing something weird today. So that is my first finished object. The next one, I just have a feeling that you guys are so sick of seeing this. If you follow me on Instagram, you are probably so sick of seeing these socks, because I know I am. I finished them! Oh, that was probably really loud and obnoxious. I'm sorry. I finished them. There they are. They're done. They're done. And I don't have to look at them anymore. I think I was more excited about that than anything else. Some Eye of Partridge heel, normal toe. I just followed the vanilla latte pattern pretty perfectly. Just followed it right along. Like I said, I didn't want to do anything crazy, because again, this is like the third sock I've ever made. It's done. So they're done, not just one. So, but there's a funny thing about these socks. Okay. So in the middle of making the first one, and this is the first one, I was making this with the Knit Picks interchangeables that I have. Right? I think it was, yeah. And I was making them with my Knit Picks. I can't remember if they're the interchangeables or not. So, but about right here was when my Haya Haya Sharps arrived in the mail. And I was so excited, I had to switch. So I switched to the Haya Haya Sharps and I finished them. I did not check gauge. I did not think about anything other than the fact that I was going to get to use these Haya Haya Sharps, which I love, by the way. So then just went and cast on the other one, didn't think about it. Well, look at the gauge, it's different. So this is tighter than this one. This one looks better, I think, than this one. Yeah, I can even see when I look at this sock how much better this looks than this. It goes to show you what a difference. I mean, the Hayas I bought were specifically made or were designed for sock knitting, so it made a better sock. But they're done. They're done. They're done. They're done. And I am so excited, and I don't have to look at them again for a very long time. And that means that I have some things that I'll get to cast on. Because, I mean, that was kind of funny. It was like I finished these last night. I was so excited because I'm like, I get to show them in my podcast. I get to show them in the podcast because they're done. And then I don't have to look at them again until like December when I put them in a box for the box of socks. There, I'm glad. I did enjoy the koi pond. Was really nice to knit with. The knit picks. This was a hand painted. It was really nice to knit with. And like I said, I just got so tired of looking at it. Which means now that I get to start some new projects. And I'll wait and I'll show you what I'm working on right now. Which isn't much because, like I said, I just finished. I tried, and like I said, I was not going to cast on another pair of socks until I finished these because I was like an inch away from starting the toe decreases, and I just put it down for a day. I'm like, I'm not going to look at these again. I'm just can't. And so when I gave myself that day off, that helped a lot. And then the next day was like, they were done. So that was great. I needed the break, and that helped a lot. So as for what I'm working on now, it's so funny. I shared this beautiful ball of yarn on Instagram, Preciosa Tonal by Knit Picks. It looks really... It's red but it's not that bright. Maybe it'll look better when I play with the color a little bit on here. This looks really red and like fuchsia, but it's really red, not red. It's like, well, it's called boysenberry. It's kind of a burgundy with really light pink highlights in it. See, and that just looks fuchsia to me on the screen. But so I've had this for a while. I was going to make something for Eva. I had 3 skeins, and the plan was to make her either the Sunday sweater by Ginny Scheller of Small Things. Her blog is Small Things. Or I was going to make the Tiny Tea Leaves, which I'm not sure if there's a specific author to that. If there is, I will link to it down below. But it was Madeline Tosh. And I have made that sweater several times. I even made the adult one for myself. I think I've mentioned that before. And then I ended up frogging it because I couldn't stand wearing it. So here's this beautiful ball of yarn. And I saw somewhere on Instagram someone wearing, a little girl wearing a sweater that I have had in my queue for probably 2 years. And I wanted to make it the first time I saw it, but she was too little. She was a baby. I think it was for Eva. I'm trying to remember. Maybe it wasn't. But it's the Wee Ambrosia by, and I hope I don't murder this, Gundrun Johnson. And I had to print this off on lined paper, so there you go. It's sponsored by Quince and Company. And it is just so adorable. And I've been wanting to make it for a really, really long time. And I saw a little girl on Instagram somewhere wearing it, and I was like, that's it. That's what I need to make with the boysenberry. So you can see how far I've gotten. I haven't got very far. I think when I cast off, the hat, that was the next morning I did this. And I'm like, no, I have to work on my socks. I have to work on my socks. And then I have a new love too, which I'll show you in just a second, which I'm working on like every evening. I just falling in love with this other project. But I think this is going to be great for that pattern with the smocking on the top. I think it's going to come out really sweet. Sorry for the weird pause. The lighting was really weird, and then I touched the microphone. I like started talking about the project, and then I touched the microphone, and it was just totally obnoxious. So I'm gonna start this other part again. So my other project is one that I am really in love with. I'm sitting here petting it. It's so pretty. I had started this project before, but I was doing it in DK weight yarn, and you'll remember because I shared it, and I did not like it. I remember telling you I'm not feeling this. I don't like it, and I quickly figured out why. Was that that I was doing it in the DK, and most of the DK weight yarns that I have are stuff that I have made things for the little kids with, like for the babies that I've, the mini babies that I've had. So they were like pale purples and pale greens and things that really weren't like things that I could picture wrapping myself up in. It's not really picturing something that I wanted to put on my bed. So I went through my stash, and I found that I had a lot more fingering weight yarn than I thought I did. Not all of it is probably like sock yarn, but I just need to show you. And I wish the lighting. I can't figure out the lighting in here to make it better. I'll figure it out eventually. It's better in my room, but doing these podcasts in my room is just not very easy. So anyway, here it is. I'm working on this every evening. I can't tell you. I just love it. I love it. I am so excited about this. There's the new color it's this lovely little teal color. I'm just having so much fun with it. It is so soothing. It's so comforting to sit there in the evenings and just work away on this and to see how pretty it's coming out. It's just so lovely, and it's probably going to take me the rest of my life. I was telling my 17-year-old last night while we were watching TV before bed, and I said, I'm going to probably be working on this for the rest of my life. And when I am done, or when I die, I will leave it to you, and maybe you can finish it before you die. So we'll see. Hopefully it won't take me that long. But it's actually not that bad. I've been working on this for maybe a week. But I mean, like I said, I had a lot of projects that I was working on that I was like really wanting to get done. So, and as a mom to so many, it is hard for me to break away and get a lot of crafting time. They're like right outside the window right now. Like I said, you could probably hear them. I asked them to go outside and play, and of course they're gonna play right outside the window. Yeah, of course. So yeah, I am really, this is probably my favorite project right now. It's just so much fun. So I have a lot of this one right here, the one where I have the 3-row, and I thought about maybe that would probably end up being the border. We'll see, because I actually have a lot of these. Like, see, here's the teal. I have a lot of it, probably even enough to make a pair of socks. But this one in particular, I'll show you. There's a spot in it right now. I don't know. This is actually just something I found, so I have no idea. But you can see that it's coming apart, and I'm having to and that's a new skill I learned. I learned the magic knot. So I'm having to like cut off these weird parts in here and magic knot them together. It's I don't know. I don't know what kind of yarn it is. and it might just have too much cotton in it or something. I don't know. So that's, so I have like some like, and that this one, I have like a skein and a half, so I can make a pair of socks with that. But I already have a pair in that. I had actually bought that to make a dress. The Fiona, can't remember who's designed it. I'll put it in the notes. But and I was making it for my 6-year-old, so I was trying to make a size 6, and I just lost interest. So I ended up taking it out, and so that's why I have so much of that. So I'll probably make a pair of socks with the one skein, and then I'll probably work the other, like, I guess it must be a whole skein, because I never finished that project. So I guess I have 2 skeins of it. So maybe I'll just work one into the blanket, and then we'll see. But those are actually my only projects that I'm working on right now. There is, I was going to try to cast this on this morning, but so I could call it a work in progress, but I just didn't have time this morning. It was just when my husband came home sick from work. It was just like, but yeah, my festival by Madeline Tosh, I'm gonna cast these on hopefully today. My Mercury socks. Oh, I'm so excited. Like I said, I have been dying to start knitting with this. It's gonna be so pretty. And I was actually tempted after watching little Bobbins Knits to maybe do the Fairy Lights sock pattern in this. But you know what? I think I'm just going to stick with the Mercury socks. I want to make those Fairy Light ones, and I'll find something. I'll find this, but I'm so excited. I printed off the pattern this morning in hopes that I would cast it on before I did this, but it just didn't happen. So this is soon going to be a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pair of socks for me. It's going to be for me. And another thing that I'm thinking about making, and I'm not 100% sure, as I throw everything on the floor, that I'm going to do it. My son's, Theodore, he's going to turn 5 next week. And I thought maybe I could knit him up something really quick. But I'm wondering if I'm going to have time to actually do it. We'll see. It's and I can show you this page. My little squiggles. The Calamari by Susan Claudino. So cute. Look at that. So cute. It's available on Ravelry, and you can knit it in anything. You can do it in any weight yarn. It's just going to affect the size, and that's all. She gives you all you need to know, and she doesn't give you a specific weight of yarn or a specific needle size. Just but some advice on how to pick it out and do that. And it looks really fun, and he really wants one. I just don't know if I can finish it in a week. I think it's like exactly a week. So I think it would kind of be like that would be all I'd be able to work on, and I don't know if I'm feeling it that much. Because I would probably want to make it from something I already have in stash, and I don't know if I have anything fun in stash either. So I looked around and I found almost a full skein of Peapod by Knit Picks, which is a really cute bright green, which I think he would really enjoy. So we'll see. Maybe I'll do it. So I acquired that pattern this week, and I got my Mercury sock pattern this week. I got the week that I was sick. I mentioned this earlier. And I'm so these 2 things I got. I ordered them from Amazon. My Haya Sharps sock knitting. And I love the bag. Please look at that. Purple. Love purple. One of the pairs isn't in here right now, but look at that. Look how beautiful that is. These are great. I did not cut my finger with these. Not at all. Not once. Not once. Love these. Love them. They don't hurt me. They don't hurt me. I love them. My birthday is in March, the very beginning of March, and so I'm gonna ask for a set of interchangeables of the Haya Sharps. I am just absolutely in love with these needles. Like I said, I just didn't. I'm so in love with them. I didn't even stop and think about the fact that the gauge would probably be different. I just wanted to knit with them so bad. So, and then with my little granny square blanket, I got new crochet hooks. Um, they were really cheap on Amazon. Look at this though. Isn't this adorable? This little case. Look at this. Animal Island takes a walk in the zoo. I haven't looked at this yet. Takes a walk in the zoo is the proper matter. Doesn't even make sense. That's how you know it's probably made in Japan. It's adorable. So cute. Nothing overly fancy. It's just like it even came with a little thing. I should probably double check though to make sure that it is proper measurement. Yeah, little yarn needles and little plastic progress keepers. Nothing, overly fancy, but look how cute these are. I have never owned crochet hooks like this. There's a word for it. I don't know. The ones with the big cushy neat handles. I have never had a pair of those, and I've been crocheting for 14 years. And I really ought to probably get myself a pair of really nice, like a set, not a pair, a set of really nice ones. I don't know if you guys know of a set. I think I've heard of Tulip, but if you guys know of a really nice crochet set, let me know, because that would be something good to ask for my birthday. Because I do want to join a few knit and crochet alongs over on Ravelry, and there's one in particular that Katie at Inside 23 is doing. She's doing this Harry Potter, so 12 months of Harry Potter, and you make something Harry Potter themed or related every month, and you'll have to check it out. Look it up on Ravelry. And if you don't know, I have actually designed a Harry Potter doll, and it's in my it's on Ravelry. And I have been meaning for a very long time to design Ron and Hermione and Hagrid. Hagrid would be so much fun. Oh my goodness, that beard. It would be so much fun to design a Hagrid. And so I felt like that was kind of maybe like a little bit of an inspiration to do it. So we'll see. I even thought about trying to pull that off, making Ron for Theo. Of course, he's too young for Harry Potter. He has no idea. but so, and I'm not sure though. The project has to be equal to 50 grams of yarn, and I'm not sure because I don't just use one color of yarn when I make my dolls. So I'm not sure if that will fit the requirements or not. I'll have to maybe ask her specifically or ask. We'll see, because I thought that'd be fun. And that would be like, I could do Ron 1 month and Hermione 1 month and then Hagrid 1 month and maybe like Dumbledore and Professor McGonagall. It'd be really cool. And, just one a month would be really fun. And so it would be nice to have these. My fingers used to hurt so much when I crocheted. I crochet differently than I think most people do. My mother-in-law taught me, and I think most people crochet holding it like a pencil, from what I understand. I've always done it like this. I tried doing it the other way, and it just felt so awkward. I think when you've been doing something one way for so long, like a decade, it's really hard to change. So my hands would hurt because I crochet really tight too, especially when you're trying to make the dolls. You don't want them to be really loose, because if they're really loose, they're floppy. So yeah, so while I've been I'm stuttering, sorry, but while I've been making this blanket, I've noticed that my hands aren't hurting. Sorry, one of the kids came in. They needed their shoe tied. So which leads me to my next acquisition, which I have been thinking very seriously about renaming my podcast, about the mini injuries of Amy Caroline. all related to crafting, of course. And this is a really ugly acquisition because it actually belongs to my husband, and there's an ink stain on it. But do you guys know what this is? See the nice ink stains on it? Do you know what this is? Look at that. It's so gross. This is what happens when you crochet and knit too much. Tennis elbow. So if I try to like knit or crochet for too long, I get this horrible pain in my elbow, shoots down into my arm, and occasionally it's even made my hand tingle. So, and here's the Velcro point. Yeah, I thought it was related to a neck injury I had had. I just woke up with a pain in the neck one day, and and it was about the same time that I'd started to get this pain in my elbow, and it was just getting worse and worse and worse. And this was all of December. And I went to the chiropractor, and he fixed my neck and he fixed my shoulder, and we talked about like, well, it's probably just some nerve thing coming from down into here, and it'll go away. And it didn't go away. It just got worse and worse because I was like knitting like a fiend because I was trying to get it all done. And so I was sitting there the other day, and I was talking to my husband about it. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's, gosh, I was like thinking carpal tunnel, but that's like in your hand. And so I was like, oh, what's that called? Tennis elbow? And my husband's like, yeah, he had gotten that a long, long, long time ago. He used to drive Heister. He's now an apprentice electrician. This is his last year as an apprentice. And he said he used to drive like this all the time. And it caused tennis elbow. And so that's what's happened to me. I got tennis elbow. And it got to the point where I was having a hard time like lifting things, carrying the baby, stuff like that. So I'm going to try this band for a little while, and if that doesn't help, then I'm probably going to have to go to the doctor. Because that's just, yeah, the accident prone knitter. Oh, there we go. Except for I crochet too. See, that's why I've always like the Knit Together name. I've always thought was kind of funny because I design mostly crochet, and then I call the podcast Knit Together. And my blog Knit Together, and everything's always been knit together. But for some reason, I prefer to design. I don't know if I prefer to design crochet. I just find it more natural for me to be able to express what to do. Like I've knit dolls before, but I don't know if I could actually like write the pattern well. I feel like I understand crochet a little bit better and the mechanics of it maybe than I do knitting. Maybe I haven't challenged myself enough in knitting. And that's definitely going to be a goal this year. So yeah. So and I ordered my first hand-dyed indie yarn, and I can't wait. I think I got the notice 2 days ago that it's on its way. I'm super excited. I ordered from Maker's Haven. Oh, I was watching her podcast, and she was talking about Penelope, and I love that movie. It's like one of my favorite movies. I love it. If you haven't seen it, Christina Ricci, Penelope, I think it's even on Netflix right now. Oh my goodness. Adorable movie. Love it so much. The colors, the everything. It's just such a great movie. So when she said she had designed a skein of yarn on Penelope and her coat, I had this little bit of money that I was saving, and I was going to try to get some Wool and Vine yarns. And I was waiting and, for her shop update. But then when I heard that and I saw the Penelope yarn, I was sold. I was like, I am going to make myself a pair of socks out of that. Can't wait. It should be here any day. So I'm super excited about that. And so I will share that with you hopefully next week. It should be here because like I said, I got notice probably yesterday that it had shipped. So I'm very excited about that. And so next week I should have lots of things to share with you. Hopefully maybe a finished toy. At least I'm going to have those Mercury socks started. Hopefully a few more rows on my granny's. But yeah, it's been a crazy 2 weeks. I felt really bad missing last week because I was like, I haven't even been doing this that long, and I couldn't do it last week. There was just no way. But I have been enjoying doing this, and I just can't tell you guys how thankful I am for all of the wonderful positive feedback I've been getting and all the love here on YouTube and on Instagram. It's been so much fun meeting new people and sharing this part of my life, which I really, really love. And it occurred to me, this is kind of my blather part, but I think isn't that what Katie inside, somebody calls it blather. It's really cute. Anyway, I had been thinking about that for many years, I was trying to find kind of that online community. Being a homeschool, I've homeschooled for 13 years, and I tried to get, you try to get involved in that community, and there's factions of the community where it's great, but I think it's kind of like faith. Like when you get involved in faith communities online, or when you get involved in homeschooling, these people take this stuff so to heart. Their method is the best method. And so if you want to question it, or you want to maybe challenge it in some way, it can be really bad. And so I never really enjoyed those communities sometimes, at least online. In person, I think it's different. In person, you've got that eye contact, you've got that one-on-one where you're going to be a little more loving and humane, where on the internet, it's different. You don't see people's reactions to what you're saying. And so that has been the greatest part, I think, about starting this podcast, is that I have gotten to really appreciate and enjoy the community of crafters online. People are so much more loving and supportive in this knitting and crochet community online. I just think everybody wants everybody to do well. Nobody is like angry because you're not knitting the way they think you should, or crocheting the way you should, and you should only do it this way or only do it that. No, it's just there's so much love, and it's so much fun, and everybody is so supportive of each other. I am so grateful to be a part of this community, and I just want to thank you guys so much for welcoming me and embracing me into this community. And I just want to thank you guys for watching. If this is your first time watching, thank you. And if you've been watching all of the other ones, I just thank you so much. I'm learning as I go, and hopefully they'll get better and better. And just thank you so much. So now I'm going to insert in my little interview with Lucy. She really wanted to be a part of my podcast this week. And I don't know if I mentioned or not, but like I said, we've been sick, so she's kind of stuffy, and hopefully you can hear her. I laughed way too much. I think I laugh way too much anyway, and I've got a really loud, obnoxious laugh, so I'm sorry if it's horrible. But enjoy Lucy. She's so sweet. She's so precious. A very creative, wonderful little girl. And thank you again so much for watching, and hopefully, bearing all injuries and illness that possibly could befall upon my sad little soul. I'll see you next week. Thanks, guys. Bye. So this is my daughter, Lucy.
Hi.
She is number 5 out of the 9.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought we would just introduce you to her a little bit today. Uh-oh, did you lose a stitch? She has been knitting since you were about 7 or 8. She's actually wearing the first thing she ever made, which is this really cool little headband.
It's got less holes than I remember.
Yeah. Well, when you're learning, right? And you were little too.
Mm-hmm.
So was it hard?
Yeah.
Do you remember? How long did it take? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember, but I just remember this was the first thing I made.
Yeah, you probably need to talk a little bit louder so that people can hear you, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So, what are you making right now?
I am making a scarf.
Yeah. You made a couple scarves for Christmas too, didn't you?
Finger knit scarves.
Mm-hmm. Didn't you made a scarf for Eva
Yeah.
for her birthday.
Red, pink, red.
And it took a really long time. We should have brought it out here. What were we thinking? Anyway, it was really long, really cute. So I gave her like a skein of, I think it started red. Did it start red? Anyway.
Yeah, it started red.
So I gave her a skein of red, and she knit until that was gone. Well, I mean, it wasn't a full skein. So, I mean, it was probably about that much red. And then I gave her pink.
Mm-hmm.
And then you knit for a while in the pink. Then I gave you more red and then more pink. And it ended up being maybe a foot taller than Eva.
Probably.
You worked on it for a really long time.
Yeah, like once I took a break from it for a while, and then I went back to it, and I was like, wow, this is getting really long. Oh, look at that. Eva's birthday is coming up. I'll go give it to her.
And being an ornery 2-year-old, she doesn't wear it very often, but I think she will. She will. Even if she doesn't right now, she will eventually, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so you're working on a scarf now. Do you want to show everybody? So this is just a Lions brand yarn.
Yeah.
I used it, I actually had it for a long time. I used it, gosh, I think I've had it for like 8 years. Because I made a little St. Joseph doll for a friend who had a baby, and they named him Joseph. And I used it to make his coat because I thought it looked kind of like lamb's wool.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. Or maybe it wasn't that one.
I think it was the one that you gave to us.
Yeah, maybe. So maybe I haven't had it that long. But it's kind of a fun knit. We need to, you've been knitting for about 3 years, and I still haven't taught her to purl. So that should be a goal. We should learn to purl. Or maybe I should teach you to knit in the round so you can make hats. You've made a couple scarves now. Now you need to make hats.
Thanks.
And then you are in Frontier Girls.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I'm going to earn the crochet badge.
Yep. We're going to work on the knitting one too, but they asked me to teach a class, and I was going to do knitting, and then I looked at the requirements for knitting, and they wanted like little kids to be able to cast on.
Cast on, and the dolphins had to be able to purl.
Yeah, which I mean you'll be able to do. But I thought casting on for like 5 and 6-year-olds when their fingers are so small would be kind of a hard requirement, unless you were working just more one-on-one. So in a classroom setting, I thought it would be best if we did crochet, because the crochet one looks like it would be easier to do. So in about 2 weeks, I'm going to teach the crochet class, and we're going to learn to crochet. Hopefully we'll be able to do some service projects. We were talking about maybe eventually, not right away, of course, but eventually making hats.
Yeah, making hats, or like we could each make a square for a quilt.
Yep. Yeah. We wanted to do maybe I thought preemie hats for the hospitals would be a really good idea because they're small, and that would be a good way. Like, and they can, once you get like single crochet down, and then eventually double crochet, we'll see. You could do a hat in single crochet for like a preemie, because it would just be tiny little bowl. It would be fun. Yeah. So that's one of your next goals. We got to teach you to purl, or knit in the round, or both, and then crochet. Is there anything else that you're wanting to learn to do? What do you like about knitting?
Just a lot of things that I like about knitting.
Nothing in particular?
I like how the yarn, like, I like spinning the yarn, but we don't have a spinning wheel.
Oh yeah, you did that at a science fair. She got to knit wool into thread, which is fun. So now she's wanting you. Now you want a spinning wheel, huh? You're gonna have to save up for that, huh?
How much are they?
It depends. We'll find a way. We'll find something.
Probably a fairly small one would do.
Yeah, I think they have like the hand ones. Did you do a hand one or did you actually do the spinning wheel?
I did the spinning wheel.
That would be really cool. That'd be really cool. They have one at the local yarn store in Ashland.
I was good at because of the pedals. They said it was like riding a bike. I like riding bikes.
Yeah. Very cool. So, that's cool. Thank you. You gonna say bye?
Bye.